All right, welcome to second semester algebra. This is Mr. Whitman. I'm going to be going over some various classroom policies that I have throughout the first week, and really wanted to point out the first one here. It's a part of your attendance check-in. So if you're in Google Classroom, every week I pose a question, and here's your question for this week. The question is, what do you do to plan to succeed in algebra this year or this semester? If I go back and look at last semester, and I only had one class, but when I talk to the other teachers, it's the same thing. You could ask Mrs. Heavner, and she gets the same results, and Mrs. Condell, and Mr. Wilcox, Mrs. Baker. You can ask any of them. And if you do your work, so if we look right here in the middle, if you do your work, you generally do really well. I think I had about a fifth of my class get an A last semester. None of them had to miss an assignment. And none of the ones that had B's averaged one missing assignment per student. And then, of course, it goes downhill. I only had 50 assignments, but the people that failed just didn't do their work. So what is your plan to succeed this semester in algebra? I want you to answer that question as a part of your attendance check-in. So make sure you follow the directions in that. You click submit when you're done. All right, today's notes. This is the beginning of the chapter 4 note packet. We are on page 2. Page 1 is just a cover page. And you're going to see today in a hurry why you need to have graph paper or have this printed, or if not, you can use the Kami app like I am doing. So right off the get-go, you can see I have already written in a couple more definitions for you just to save some time. I always try to keep my videos 10 to 15 minutes at the most. Occasionally go under, sometimes go over. That's just how it goes. So our 3 vocab words today, we're dealing with a system of linear equations, which we're doing this entire chapter. It says 2 or more linear equations form a system of linear equations. I know it's kind of repetitive there, but 2 or more is called a system. So that's kind of the key word there, that word system. All right, and a picture or an example, actually we could just use what we have down here at the bottom, y equals 2x plus 2, and y equals x minus 3. Those combine, you'll sometimes see them with that big kind of bracket to go with it. That is an example of a system of linear equations. Now you know the next one. We're just going to apply it to algebra. An intersection is a point where 2 lines meet. So if I have your xy coordinate plane here, and now if I change the color to, we'll do a green line, and then we'll do a blue line, where they meet right here, that intersection point, that is our solution. So it kind of ties right in to our third. The solution of a system is the point where 2 lines meet on a graph. You can also go back to intersection and think about it like on a road. Okay, so the solution is right here. So if I graph these two things, 2x plus 2, x minus 3, eventually they're going to cross as long as they're not the same slope, which we'll get into later on. They're going to cross, and wherever they cross, you can write an ordered pair. That is your solution. That's the basis of pretty much the whole chapter. So we can use graphing to solve these systems, which is what we're doing today. So I'm just going to do a bunch of graphing. So we'll make this first one red. And this is where your graphing has to be exact in order to get the system correct. So actually I'm going to change this here. So if you're using the Kami app, you change it to shapes. And you can go here and make a line. So we're going to go down to -4. So I know that I have to go through this spot. So actually, I'm going to come back here. I have to go through -4. And my slope is -2. So it goes down 2 over 1. And then, of course, I can work backwards. Graphing you should be able to do pretty quick. But you're going to want to make sure that you cover as much of this paper as possible because you don't know where the lines intersect yet. So now, this is where this line, if it's off even a little bit, if I were to stop right there and be off just a little bit, I'm not going to get the correct answer. So you line it up the best you can. There's one line. Now if I change my color, so now I got green. 1/2 x plus 6, so I come here, and I go up 1 over 2, up 1 over 2. And sometimes when you're doing these rise over runs, you can also go down 1, back 2. You're going to see that when I go here, down 1, back 2, right there is going to be my intersecting point. I'm right on that line. So now I can finish this up and draw my spot from here up through here. Now, of course, normally our lines would have arrows on them, but that's not much of a concern right now. So our solution, where do these cross at? Well, they cross at the point -4, up 4. And what you would see, actually, if I were to plug these points in for x and y, I would get this correct answer. So I'm only going to check this first one for you just to show what happens. So what should happen is I should have 4, because I'm plugging that in for y, and that equals -2 times -4 minus 4. So it's a lot of 4's, but that becomes 8 minus 4, because I have -2 times -4. And does 8 minus 4 equal 4? Well, yeah, it does. So that one checks. But you can't stop there. You would also need to check the green one that we did. So you also had to have 4 equals 1/2 of -4 plus 6. Well, half of -4 is -2 plus 6. -2 plus 6. Well, that also equals 4. Now, if that one didn't work, so that one checks. If one of them didn't work, that would tell you that your graph over here was just off a little bit, and you'd have to go back and try to fix your graph. Moving on, I'm going to pick up the pace a little bit here. All right, so we're going to do 2 more of these. So we'll look at number 2. 3x minus 7. So I go to -7. So this is my first one right here. And 3x, so I go up 3 over 1. And we're going to do that a couple times. I can also go back 1, down 3. So now I'll put a line on it. And that's the wrong color. And you can see right there I was off. It wasn't going to line up. So if you're on the Kami app, click the undo button and you try again. So I got to start right here and go up through that point. Make sure you're going through those dots like you're supposed to. That's pretty good. My other one is 1/2 x minus 2. So now I'm here, and it is up 1 over 2. I already know my answer. Right there it is. Up 1 over 2 in green. So now, if I've already gone through here, you're good to just make sure Because I checked that. I know that I have the right answer because I was doing my rise over run correctly. My rise over run took me to this point, which is 2, -1. So what I can't see when you guys do these, I can't just see a line drawn like this and a line drawn like that and a point. I should see these dots that you are doing rise over run. A lot of times I will bounce assignments back to kids if I don't feel the effort's there. And again, it goes back to this right here. The kids that do their work and do them with fidelity, with some effort, they're the ones that get the A's and the B in the class. Okay, and the other thing is that I pointed out down here, second semester is harder. So if you were one of those kids last semester that squeaked by with a C or D, I'm already putting you on alert that second semester is harder and you're not guaranteed to pass just because you did first semester. All right, last one we're going to do. If it's not in y equals mx plus b form, we go back to last chapter, you need to show me your work. So I have 4y equals -x plus 4 divided by 4, divided by 4, divided by 4. And that leaves me with y equals -1/4 x plus 1. So since I have that line there in red already, I'll do this one in red. Double check my math real quick. I subtracted my x. I divided by 4. And that is correct. So now we will do -1/4 x plus 1. So we go down 1 over 4. Okay, and I can also go up 1 and left 4 and get the same result. So hopefully, we'll start with red. I'm just going to run it through those points there because I know for sure that I did my rise over run correctly. I got a nice straight line. I would recommend using a straight edge at home if you have one. Again, your assignment today is not going to be very long. The video's longer than what it'll take you. And then my other one is 2x plus 10. So this one's a little trickier because what happens is I am here, okay, and I go, the slope is 2 over 1. I go up 2 over 1 and I'm already off the paper. So I can't go up 2 over 1. So instead of going up 2 over 1, I can go down 2 and back 1 and get the same result. And there's my answer. The reason I can do that is because 2 over 1 is the same thing as -2 over -1 because the two negatives cancel. So remember, this is up and to the right, rise over run. If I change this to negative, then it's down. If I change that to negative, it's left. So just a backwards way to do rise over run. I'm going to connect this line. And I got an answer of -4 up 2. We're just going to stop there. This video is long enough already. We'll come back to number 4, 5, and 6 another day. But in the meantime, I want you to do 1 through 4 on page 5. I'm sorry, there's 6 of them. One through 6 on page 5. Shouldn't take you long to graph those. A couple of them here, you'll notice you have to solve them. I would just rewrite them on the side, like over here. And then quickly solve them for y. So that's your assignment for the day. Have a good one.